Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How is everyone tonight? I am once again trimulcasting on Bumble and Utizzle and Kick a Doodle. I don't know what a doodle is. I said it last time. I don't. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I had a whole viewer there the other night. So anyway, maybe some more people will show up because I can see their chats. But anyway, folks, I've got in there. Charges are flying. Warrants are flying. Full force. Things are coming out. We're finding out things that we've already known, but now the proof is being laid bare. And these type of operations, these grand conspiracies, these subversive activities, not only do they impact the lawful operation of government, but they cost people's lives, okay? And they hurt people, okay? And they incite public hostility. So we're getting down to the brass tacks with this stuff. But anyway, what do I do while I welcome people in to shake off the skin and rattle around in the bones? I play videos. Give my time to get a cup of coffee or a cold bruja or an adult beverage, whatever it is you want. And then we will, what? Be like butter and get on a roll.
I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter.
Dust on my Bible, flags on the line. You laughed at our warnings, called truth a crime. You sold us your secrets, wrapped up like hope. Signed all our futures with a poison note. You sat in your mansions, we prayed in the rain. You cast every favor on a ledger of pain. You thought you were covered, names on a list, private plain pages you swore don't exist. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. You thought she was certain, thought he was too. Shook hands in the back room, said they'll never break through. You mocked every farmer, every steel-toed boo. Called them crazy and bitter while you buried the proof. Now screens start flashing, whole names, young kids, whole world scrolling through the things y'all did. Digital soldiers from the cornfields to Rome say leave our children alone or we're taking you home. Let's go! Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. From the back roads to the big tall towers, patriots worldwide, this the final hour. You can beg, you can bargain, you can scream, you can hide, but the book's been written and your name's inside. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. Nothing's gonna stop what's already signed. Game over.
storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with force the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. How do you like my thumbnail? Bought, financed and organized by Guess Who? Well, we got a lot of people guessing. We're going to go over that. And, we always say, when do birds sing, right? When do birds sing? Well, remember Al Jolson? When April showers, they come your way. They bring the flowers that bloom in May. What else does he say? Keep on listening for the bluebird and listen for his song. When those April showers come along. And then he takes his hand and does a bird tweeting routine for about 3 minutes. Birds will be singing because, hey, this is a big deal. The Southern Poverty Law Center indictments. People being charged. Okay, there's search warrants flying. You can better believe it. Subpoena ducas tecums. What's that mean? Give me the daggone papers. That's what it means. We want your stuff. And that's a federal investigation. Prison time. I was thinking there are lawyers that do consulting for wealthy people that are going down the road for a long time. They hire a lawyer. Well, what should I do? What should I do if somebody offers me a piece of candy? What facility can I get into? Can I get into one in Santa Barbara somewhere? So boy, that'd be a good profession to get into to get these creepos ready, because that's where a lot of them are going. Sissy, how you doing? Robin's here. Miss Mender Sue. Todd's here. Wayne's here. Give me a thumbs up. Brett's here. Nice to see you, Sherry. Rebecca. All right. Robert's here. Nice to see you, Darla. Cole's here. Randy. Melinda, nice to see you. All right, I might say people twice, and I might leave people out. I don't mean to do it, but I'm an old man. How many times I got to say it? Let's see. Sherry's doing a rundown, everybody. Darla's, let's see. Who else is here? I might as well say it. Who's in hell? Well, no, I'll leave that alone. So anyway, let's see. All right. Ed, You know, I was going to do a meme, a thumbnail. Hi, Todd. How are you doing? Remember the scene from The Wicked Witch where the house is sitting on top of the witch's shoes? They're sticking out and then they eventually shrivel up. Remember that, folks? I should have got a screenshot of that. But I tell you, it's so much production work the way it is. But I was going to have a picture of the Wicked Witch's sister. That's what it was, her sister. Her feet sticking out from underneath the house. And that would be Abigail Spanberger, and the house would be the federal judge. Because they threw that redistricting garbage out less than 24 hours out of here. Now you all can chase that, okay? Because it's patently unfair. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over this Southern Poverty Law Center, which is nothing but a front for paid protesters, a organizing spot for operatives, right, with F and then .B.I. and other three-letter agencies to cause problems. Hello, Mr. Kibler. How you doing? Nice to see you. Elva's here. Let's see. Who'd I miss? If I missed anybody, I apologize. Tammy's here. Yeah, I got Tammy and Cole. That's a younger gang. But anyway, all that stuff's coming out, you know. And there have been arrests going on while we've been doing broadcasts and listening to things. They're like small town things, but hey, it leads to bigger things. But I don't know if I come across the old one. What old meaning of like 4 days or 5 days ago, somebody getting locked up for getting caught cheating, or somebody else getting exposed. But we keep focusing on the big fish. Well, this is one I had in here for a while. Libs TikTok put it up. Breaking: Gavin Newsom's PAC used $1.5 million to buy 67,000 copies of his own book. Remember that story I told you all years ago? I had a friend who had a warehouse. Big place. I mean, it was a couple of acres under roof. And there was one area that was rented out, and it was boxes and boxes of brand new books. Some liberal creep. I wish I would have. I think I got a copy of it and had it in the back of a van, but that's another story. But anyway, they were just stashed there to make it look like they'd been bought. Somebody got paid off, and they just had a place to store it until they figured out how to send it off to the dump or to the incinerator or to the grinder. But anyway, total book sales were around 97,400. His PAC's purchase accounts for about 2/3 of all sold copies. So how much did he get? 1.5 million? I'm sure the publisher got some of that, but just a grift, just a scam. A scam. This was last week, last week. So we find something new every day. And not only election fraud, but like this creep right here. Look at this. He wants to date your daughter right here. There he is. Who is this guy? Oh, James Mulhern, MCPS employee and vice president of the SEIU Local 500 Teachers Union in Maryland. That's part of the DMV, don't you forget, ever. Was just arrested after he allegedly recorded underage girls inside a changing room, looking at their delicates and everything. Mulhern has now been charged with S3X abuse of a minor. We have a predator. What the hell is wrong with these people? What in the world is wrong with these people? But he's going to be, like I said, prison prep. Get ready. Get ready. And like I say, when they got a lot of money, they can get advice. What do I do? What am I going to do? It's funny. I didn't get a chance to talk about this one. You heard about this judge that kicked out Utah's redistricting? Utah leaders launch a probe into Supreme Court. We got to keep an eye on that too, folks, because it's going to mesh together somehow. This Virginia redistricting and this Utah situation. I think they changed one district maybe from Republican or Democrat to Republican or something like that. And they step in, and that judge is like, every picture I see her, she's got that Barbie smile. I don't know what her deal is. But they're doing a probe into that. Somebody might be losing their spot on the bench and be like backdoor Dugan and not be a judge anymore. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And weirdos, speaking of weirdos, there was one weirdo I had. I mean, we go through so many of them. I say, oh, that weirdo can wait till next weekend. I should do a weirdo broadcast. Nothing but weirdos. Because we got plenty of them. We got gobs of weirdos. Here's somebody else that wants to meet your daughter. Right here. Right here. I didn't get a chance to put this one up. He wants to date your daughter. Well, not exactly date. I'll put it that way. Where does he live? He's living in America. They're coming to America. Christina Aguirre, Islamic cleric, says his soldiers would take non-Muslim women as S3X slaves, and he'd take 10 for himself. If Bangladesh decided to go with Myanmar, no, he's living in Bangladesh. That's right. All right. A correction. Much bigger of a correction than you get from CNN, I'll tell you that. A Bangladeshi Islamic religious preacher has openly called for the capture, distribution, and S3 actual enslavement of non-Muslim women if Bangladesh ever goes to war with Myanmar. Isn't Myanmar where that girl was doing her exercises and the army went in and overthrew the government, and she's still standing there doing her aerobics? The women we capture will be distributed among our soldiers. Oh, I got to do the right voice. Suppose we get 50 girls. I will keep 10. The rest I will sell to our soldiers. Oh, you'll sell them to the soldiers. Okay. Islam allows for taking kafir girls as S3X slaves. They deserve humiliation. Under traditional Islamic law from the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad, Ilhan Omar will tell you all about it. Female captives taken in jihad are classified those whom your right hands possess. This explicitly allows Muslim men to have S3X with them without marriage, treat them as property, and distribute them as spoils of war. Now, also, I've used that term before. Take them in your right hand. That also means that you can take their life, and it's usually for prisoners, captives, war men. They do that with, but they do anything they want if they have them by the right hand. So, yeah, Sharia law. Don't you all want Sharia law? It is so cut and dry. We don't have all these problems, all these arguments. This guy, did you ever hear of this guy? These are the people that get nervous. Scott Wiener has the SADS. Pride flag removed from a coffee shop. We're driving all these characters out. Now think about it. This Utah situation gets squared away with this crooked judge that I just showed you. And the Virginia thing gets kicked out. Will that make them take a look at 9 or 10? It might be even 11. I don't know. States in up north, northeast states that have 0 Republican congressmen in Congress. We have 9 or 10 or more states that have not even one Republican. How is that in any way a functioning democracy? So they get kicked. I'm telling you, we're looking at something big. But anyway, he's got the SADS. He can't get a cup of coffee and see gay stuff.
Phil's Coffee just made a corporate decision to ban the pride flag. This is after Phil's was acquired by a private equity firm called Freeman Spogli. Phil's, for those who don't know, is a small business, or was a small business, that started here in San Francisco in the Mission. It spread around the city and then elsewhere. It was an amazing small business, great coffee, really cool baristas, and then unfortunately got acquired by private equity. And so now we have this private equity firm coming into San Francisco and trying to say that our Phil's Coffee locations can't have a pride flag. That is really gross. It shows once again the importance of small business that actually know a community, are rooted in a community, and are attuned to that community, as opposed to giant corporations that honestly don't care. And so we have an atmosphere in this country where the LGBTQ community is under assault, and we need our business community to stand with LGBTQ people, and that means more small businesses and just more businesses that actually get the community that they're in.
It's capitalism's fault that gay people can't have their own, or what, like Archie Bunker said, not your regular gays. Your regular gays, Edith, but the whack jobs, they can't have a place to go. It's because of capitalism. You know, I was going to put in my title, Where's Hunter? But we'll wait for Donald Trump to bring him up. We know where Hunter's supposed to be, right? Yeah, Todd, I said the same thing last night. I had a friend ask me about it before the polls closed. And I said that this is when they're at the most desperate. I said night before last, this is our most desperate hour. But they don't have an Obi-Wan, right? Because their cause is not righteous. It's not on the light side of the force. And they're going to do anything to stay in power. And this was a big roll of the dice for them, okay? A part of the DMV. So they were pulling out all the stops. And I believe it was a trap. They've been trapped a long time ago. We caught them all, right? We caught them all. So did I make sure I get that stuff out of my studio I just played? That way I free my studio up. But anyway, all of them are just fuming. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Hunter. Where's Hunter? We know where Hunter's at, right? He's in South Africa. I was going to put this up when I was talking about Hunter from Lives to TikTok. Remember this guy? South Africa will not abandon the race-based economic policies. President confirms. Have a good time in South Africa, Hunter. Whitey. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said the country will not abandon its DEI policies, better known as Black Economic Empowerment. You'll fit right in, Hunter. You better watch out, buddy. Who's going to pay for your security? You can't even pay for your lawyers in America. You think you'll be fine? Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you think you'll be fine, that's fine. You know, I tell you what, I'm going to call Spamberger the throwaway governor. That came in my head earlier. Now, I'm going to be talking about stuff like I used to on Talking Head broadcasts. I might get every blurb and every news report, which I'm not crazy about doing anyway. She's a throwaway governor. I wasn't too sure. I had to find out, like when Glenn Youngkin was governor. Is he a one-termer? That's all they can do in Virginia? Before I said anything. And you all remember in the past, I said, we got to watch term limits. Be careful what you wish for. Because you get somebody in there and they got to go anyway. Because they can only be there one term. What's to stop them from being bribed or corrupted? I don't give a damn. I'm leaving. I don't got to run for re-election. I'll do whatever you want. Stuff that will impact your state or the whole country for decades. Because God forbid we ever get a crooked politician, right? So Spamberger popped up out of nowhere, right? I said, where'd she come? They find her under a cabbage leaf? Nobody's really heard of her. She's only there for one term. She couldn't get elected dog catcher in a normal situation. And certainly not anything beyond as goofy, dopey as she is. And I mean, she's dizzier than Kamala. So she had one job. One job. Well, here's somebody that's, I don't know where these people come from. Look at this stage photo. Look at the Hoff. So Lenin-esque, so Stalin-esque of a picture taking. Looking off and Olivia Troy. I never heard of her. Former Pence advisor. Oh, turned Trump critic. Imagine that. Launches Democratic bid for U.S. House from Virginia. Isn't that where the Vindmans went? The Vindmans? Huh? The traitors that did phony Russia stuff? So anyway, they go to the areas that they have control. So anyways, yeah, Spamberger, she had no intention of being reelected. I should have got some screenshots of videos that were out about how people were like, what the hell have we done? We got to make sure we get rid of her. And it's a little too late now because she's in there and she's got the power short of impeachment or a recall election. We just got to go along with it. But what they were doing was illegal. Here's another video I had. Talk about Weirdo Week. I know you'll probably seen this, but hey, there's something wrong with this. 2 gay men in Nashville. I had an argument with a guy, I told you all about it a long time ago. A guy who was one of the developers of a large streaming service. Okay? More nerve than a bum tooth. I ain't going to say which streaming service. I think I already said it once. He said, I think gay people, I've seen them, and they're better parents than regular parents. I said to myself, I don't think you developed squat. Okay. I think they put people in those positions to push that kind of a narrative. That's what I believe. So anyway, or weak and would let people run over them. They sparked nationwide outrage after recording a video of themselves mocking the baby they had via surrogacy as it cries for its mother for content. So here, it's happening all over the country. And my personal opinion, 2 grown men seeking an infant, there's something wrong, okay? It ain't natural. All right, in my book, might be, think what you want, okay? But when we get these votes straightened out, we'll see how it turns out.
Who do you want, Dada or Pop?
Mama.
No, Mama. Do you want Dada or Pop? Who do you want, Dada or Pop? No. Do you want Dada? You want Pop? No way, Jose. I think. Oh. There is no mama.
Well, I'm going to stop it right there because I don't like, there is no mama is what he says, okay? And then the baby really starts crying. You tell a baby there's no mama? That makes you, and you're a good parent? So I'm not going to play it all because I don't like seeing that kind of distress in an infant, but that is the life that some of these Democrats have allowed very young ones to be exposed to. And it's a disgrace. And that is my opinion. Oh, this is something else I didn't get put up the other night. Right here. Look at her. Who is she? New Democrat candidate exposed for ties to Satanists. You don't say. You don't say. A Democrat congressional candidate in one of the nation's most, this is one of the ones you got to click on and all. She's one of how many? I'm not stunned by it. Well, speaking of what's going to be set up here, okay? It's a grand conspiracy. It is an intricate web. Remember that, folks. Donald Trump used that term, not a tangled web, an intricate web. And I turned to Christina Guaya because they put it all down. My thoughts, most of the time, my thoughts. But my thumbnails have said before, all roads lead to Obama, right? Even though he's just a puppet. Clandestine said, I always love when people say, we can't hold Obama accountable. Let me get his name on it. Why not? Treason is treason. They went after Trump. What are the Debs going to do that they haven't already done? We're already at war. They tried to enslave us, poison us, take away our liberties, and replace our people. What are they going to do? Get violent and burn the streets down? They already did that. This is a zero-sum game. Either Trump wins here and now, or the deep state will take over and never let go. The border will be open forever. The courts will be packed. The Second Amendment will be gone. And the filibuster will be nuked. Elections will be left intentionally unsecure. Our nation will fall. And so will the world. Defeat is not an option. Okay, that's upsetting. But wait a minute. What about this? Notice how every time Trump talks about the nuclear dust, he says, we will be bringing it back. As if to say we had it before. I don't think this is an accident. I think Trump is telling us that the uranium used to be ours, meaning Obama gave us U.S. uranium. What does that mean, folks? What does that mean? We'll be getting it back. And they put 4 clips up, and I have them. I'll play them. For those who don't believe, doubters.
Said that the U.S. was going to take the nuclear dust from Iran.
What's
the timeline on that? How long will that take?
Do you want me to give you the time and date and everything else?
Is it like you've negotiated how long that process
I'm not going to give you the time other than if we sign the agreement, then I can give you time somewhere after the signing of the agreement.
And
we'll go in with Iran. We'll go in with Iran and we will take it together and we will bring it back, 100% of it, back to the United States. If we don't do that, we will get it in a different form, in a much more unfriendly form.
And that unfriendly
but in
form,
any
would that
event,
involve war?
excuse me, but in any event, we'll get it.
Yeah, it'll lead to Obozo and Hillary, and who else would lead to? I believe John Kerry and others. Others. Names we have in the back of our minds, but when you're on the TAKE, you look the other way. And sometimes it's just not believable that you didn't know. Remember that judge I told you about? He said, well, maybe you did know, but you should have known. So anyway.
And somebody said, how are we going to get the nuclear dust? We're going to get it by going in with Iran, with lots of excavators, because the B-2s, remember when fake news CNN said, well, maybe obliteration is too strong a word, obliteration. That's so deep. We need the biggest excavators you can imagine, but we're going to go in together with Iran, we're going to get it, and we're going to take it back home to the USA.
Take it back home to the USA. Oh, my. He's putting it right out there. Here we go again. You know, I heard there was a lot of traffic from the United States Air Force over, in, and out of Iran. A lot of traffic.
The big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. So very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that, and they've agreed to it very powerfully. They've agreed to give us back the nuclear dust that's way underground because of the attack we made with the B-2 bombers. So we have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive.
You would think at one time he would say, we'll bring it to the U.S. for safekeeping or something like that. No, he's saying bring it back. Here's the last clip. Here's the last clip. Oh, I got to notice about something. Oh, boy, I don't know. Hang on, I'll go through the chats in a minute.
And I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly, very badly.
What was the sticking point over? You said it was over nuclear.
It was over nuclear, very similar. Yeah, very good. I guess you're listening. It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back. Either we'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
Mr. President. That's the most equivocal one of all. We will get it back. Do you all concur? Now, I got a message from Kick that you all can't see. Devin wants waterfall spaceship. All right, well, that's a little bit, a lot to ask for, but maybe you'll get it. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. Yeah, it's ours. It's ours. Greg, how you doing? So, yeah, we're watching the replay. So, 8X over on Kick. I see you, bro. I don't know. I don't know about WhatsApp. You ain't got Telegram, any of you? I'd think about hooking up with you on Telegram. I don't know about WhatsApp. So, anyway. Anybody that came in I haven't seen yet, I'll catch you on down the line. So, you know, I didn't know if I wanted to put this up or not. This is weird. You know what happened yesterday? Yesterday. One of the greatest and oldest special effects in history can be witnessed in Rome today. And it has been playing out on cue for nearly 2,000 years. Each year, on April 21st, the traditional birthday of Rome, the legendary date Romulus founded the city in 753 BC. Okay, learn a little bit about Roman history. In the midday sun pierces the oculus at the crown of the Parthenon's dome and casts a perfect disk of light that settles squarely on the temple's entrance. For roughly 2 minutes and 50 seconds, the bronze doors blaze gold. At that exact moment, the emperor would step across the threshold, his body swallowed in light, as though the heavens themselves were handing him the city. Hadrian's engineers designed the entire building as a cosmos in miniature. The interior is exactly 43.3 meters wide and 43.3 meters tall, making it a perfect sphere. We're talking 2,000 years. 2,000 years. Oh, where'd it go? Hold on. The Roman senator, meaning a perfect sphere fits inside it, where you could put a round object inside it. The Roman senator Cassius Dio wrote that the vaulted roof was meant to resemble the heavens themselves. And don't you know I got a video of it? This is it, folks. You're seeing stuff that people have been watching every year for 2,000 years. I remember when Trump walked through that foggy, lit-up door during his first convention. He walked through there and it knocked everybody for a loop. I remember it. But anyway, Trump appealed for these young women right here. And I'll probably jump over some of the reports because, as you all know, the story is that they have, this may have something to do with what's going on with the ceasefire. They were preparing to execute these young women. And Trump he put up that post you're looking at now, and to the Iranian leaders who will soon be in negotiations with my representatives, I would greatly appreciate the release of these women. I'm sure that they will respect the fact you did so. Please do them no harm. Would be a great start to our negotiations. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump, what were they going to do? Look like savages to the world, which is what they are. So they say that they've been spared. Okay, if I get the report, I'll put it up farther down the line. Here, more trouble. On top of the stuff we're talking about with Southern Poverty Law Center and all the fraud that's going on with J.D. Vance is uncovering and having a new fraud task force, we've got these problems in Congress that are getting taken care of too. And I don't care what Ilhan Omar puts out to the public. She's shaking in her boots. Nancy Mace moves to expel Corey Mills from Congress over allegations of S3 actual misconduct. Any member who votes to keep him here is going to protect a woman beater and a fraud. Wow. He needs to be expelled immediately, Mace wrote. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, they're trying their redistricting, but they got a lot of them dropping off like flies with very bad reputations. I've got in my thumbnail Iran parade. They were parading missiles in Iran. Oh, Tammy, don't be exhausted. This is the most thrilling time in human history. We're blessed to be here, right? Enjoy every day. I will admit, last night I was thinking, Virginia deserves everything it gets. The corrupt judges, the corrupt politicians, what do they call it? General? I don't know if they call it a General Assembly or House of Representatives, whatever the hell they call it. They're all as crooked as a damn dog's hind legs. And, I'll show you some maps of it. Here's the actual vote. Virginia redistricting results. And this is with 95% of the votes. And I'd like to see the final tally. Because this is only, help me with the math, 80,000 out of 3 million. Am I right? 80,000 out of 3 million. But look at the actual voting for this referendum. And how they're getting away with redistricting is they're taking the city. You see up at the top, the blue at the top? That's called Nova. Nova. A kludge of counties. Nova stands for Northern Virginia. Nova. And Richmond, blue. Charlottesville, to the left of the R. to the left of the R, a college town where they staged through Southern Poverty Law Center a very similar theatrical performance by plants and actors as they did on Jay and then 6, right? And then they promoted the narrative that Trump said they were fine people and purposefully left out the part I played on my broadcast many times where he said, I'm not talking about white supremacists. They should be condemned totally. That's almost verbatim what he said. And they purposefully excluded that every major news agency, and I think that's what they're going to get their rear ends busted over. But anyway, what they're doing is taking these, and then you have big city areas like Norfolk and Virginia Beach that are probably 90% of the food stamps and HUD and whatever, you know. And they're of course they're going to vote to keep getting the gravy, right? And I was positing to a friend of mine that probably 10% of the voters don't speak English. That's 300,000. Check my math. 300,000. And 5% can't speak English, okay? At all. That's 150,000. Do you think it would be crazy for me to say that 5% of this population can't speak English and 10% won't or can't? You see that? How that works? But what they do is they create districts as the city area is the root. Okay, it's the root. And then they branch it out into the red districts with smaller populations and swallow them up. They're not contiguous, similarly shaped districts. They look like a Rorschach test, okay? And that's how they get over. So last night, the vote came through. I think now, when it's something they want to do, here we go, New York Times. I don't have a timestamp on. My memory serves me correct. It was about 8:30 their time. They had the results published by 8:30. I guess the polls closed at 5. I don't know. 3.5 hours after the polls closed, everything counted and reported and done. When it's something they want. But now, what if it didn't go the way they wanted to? Would this been a 2-week election or 2 days, or we're waiting on a mail truck? Oh, we found some hey, apparently so. That's apparently what they did. But here you go. How Virginia's vote. Here you go. That's the actual maps. Very similar to what I show you. Virginia's current congressional districts. I think it's like a difference of 1 representative between the two parties. Like 6-5 or something like that. 6 Democrats to 5 Republicans, because it's a 49.5 to 50.5% state. It's neck and neck. So anyway, here's the current districts. Here's what they did last night. What they think is fair. They just branched the district boundaries out from those areas full of SNAP recipients, HUD recipients, no speaky me, no speaky. And you know what they did about 15 years ago? Maybe even more than that. Motor voting. I have a car. Can I get a registration? Sure. You want to sign to vote? See. So there, you're registered to vote. And like that video I played from you for Obama, which got corrupted with all my other files. I can find it somewhere. They don't ask you for that when you show up. He told a girl that on national television. Letting them all know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just show up and vote. So anyway, Trump's on to him. I'll get to his postings in a little bit. But here we go. Here's Christine Aguirre put this little collage of pictures ago. There she is. The throwaway governor. There's Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And Georgie Porgy Sorioso. And who is Barack Hussein Obama with? Alex Soros, right? So let me see if this is the proper article. This is about Ilhan Omar. I'll get that up in a minute. Here we go. Here's Christine. Both reports from Christine Aguirre. Obama had a role in promoting Virginia's redistricting map, which critics say strips Republicans of representation in the state. I wonder if he had a role in where the money was going from Southern Poverty Law Center. When will the birds sing? Democrats have 10 seats to the GOP's 1, despite about, I'll beg to differ, it's 46% of the residents of Virginia voting Republican presidential elections. Maybe that. I don't know. I think it's closer. Critics are now comparing this king-like power grab that disenfranchises hundreds of thousands of voters is very typical of Obama. They say he has a pattern of big government power grabbing and centralizing moves that Obama has backed or pushed during his time in office and afterwards. He directed his intelligence agencies to ignore credible intelligence that showed President Trump was not colluding with Russia while instructing them to fabricate intelligence tying him to Russia. So, before I put that one about Ilhan Omar, where's that one about Fetterman? Fetterman had a little something to say about Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Let me find it. Wow, I got so much stuff in here. All right. Here we go. There they are. Boy, Obama. You know, I can forgive people to a point. But if they aren't really kicking themselves in the rear end by now over Obama, I don't know what to say. The ones that voted for him. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman says he told former President Barack Obama that respectfully, I don't work for you. Obama was on Capitol Hill last week issuing marching orders to his deep state operatives while delivering DNC policy points to Democrats in both chambers. Oh, a former president's supposed to stay out of this stuff. He's got a house in D.C., a mansion, and he's got Valerie Jarrett in there, and he's got Susan Rice. He's got a shadow White House. I don't know who he thinks elected him to do that, but it wasn't the people I serve, Fetterman said. Honestly, I find it offensive. Fetterman says Obama has been conducting these visits weekly since he's been in the Senate. He still thinks of himself as a king. No kings, no king protests, remember? Well, today in history, real quick, Richard M. Nixon passed away. On this day in 1994, the world lost a great man. Yeah, Richard Nixon was a great man. Silent coup, they took him out without violence because it was too close to Kennedy. In the end, what matters is that you have always lived your life to the hilt. I have been on the highest mountain and in the deepest valleys, but I have never lost sight of my destination, a world in which peace and freedom can live together. Richard M. Nixon. Remember, Trump has his letter hanging in the Oval Office. So I'll get to that one about Ilhan Omar in a minute, but I want to put this one up. Right here. FBI posted this. News release. Federal grand jury charges Southern Poverty Law Center for wire fraud, false statements, and conspiracy conspiracy to commit money laundering. Between 2014 and 2023, remember that word conspiracy, folks. The SPLC secretly funneled more than $3 million in donated funds to individuals who were associated with various violent extremist groups, including the KKK, Aryan Nations, and the National Socialist Party of America. The Nazis. That's what it stood for. National Socialist Party. That's why they call themselves the Democratic Socialist Party, because they don't want to say they're National Socialists, because that's too much like Adolf had. But it's same suit, different bow tie. So anyway, where's that video of Kash Patel? Yeah, they really peed him off when they, he's suing that Atlantic. We talked about that the other night. He's suing them for, how much? Suing them for $2.5 million. Where is that video of Kash Patel? Let me find it. Oh, is it one of them? No, I was going to say. Right here it is. Right here. What's going on, Kash? They're going to start making memes and jokes about you that are false. Sue, find out who's behind them, too. Okay? I don't care if you can get them for a bag of dog food. Get them. So anyway, here we go.
Today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million. Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity. They attempted to hide their criminal activity from our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful to the president for his leadership and funding of not just the FBI and DOJ, but his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you, General.
That's Todd Blanche in the background, isn't he? Todd Blanche. Now, isn't he just now jumping on some people were saying that maybe that's what got things goosed. That's what got things goosed, right? Was Todd Blanche getting involved? I don't know. I don't know. Here's Dan Bongino. He dipped out. But here he's talking about something big is coming. It's why they want Kash out. Oh, by the way, I just put a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee at the 1 hour mark. And I want to thank everybody who went to Buy Me a Coffee. My last broadcast. Mike and Bev went to Buy Me a Coffee. Norm, Norm proves. What is the best time to go to Buy Me a Coffee? Do you all know what the best time to go to Buy Me a Coffee is? I'll tell you what, it's any time. He'll get up in the morning. I'm probably walking around with my socks flopping all around on the end of my feet and start my coffee. And then I got to, before I do that, let's get somebody a bowl of food. They stare, you know who I'm talking about, and then get them their food. Then I can have my coffee. But anyway, so Norm helped out, and Roland helped out, and Younger Gang. Everybody that helped out last week, too. Wayne helped out. Miss Menderson dropped a Moab. And kapow! So I do appreciate it, everybody. I'm going to call it the Fellowship of the Coffee, because each week I'm like Wayne, Miss Menderson, Roland, Mike and Bev, Younger Gang, Roland, and Norm. The Fellowship of the Coffee. Kapow! But anyway, and everybody that helped out earlier in the month too, like Colette. I do appreciate it. I know you're there, Colette. And anyway, so yeah, we'll go fishing. We'll find something that's not. I got the purest water in the country. So anyway, I won't get into that. But anyway, something big is coming. It's why they want Kash out. Why did Dan Bongino leave? He was shaken to his core.
One final thing, too, before we start that. This is just the beginning of the show. I promise you this. Look at me. Everybody zooming in. Fokker, that's an O. The hit on Kash Patel, the bullshit hit by The Atlantic, which I addressed yesterday, is going to make a lot more sense in the coming weeks and months. I can't give you a definitive timeline. I'm on the outside now. However, I can tell you what I know is going on because I started a lot of it. It's going to make a lot more sense real soon as to why the left-wing media and the Democrats want Kash Patel out. I promise. Look at me. Look me in the eye. Wow. Whoa. What the hell was that? Guys scared me with the close-up, even me. Look me in the eye, and I'm telling you, I promise this thing is going to make a whole lot of sense. You're going to find out, as they say in the South, right quick about why they need him out like now. It's got nothing to do with that story being even remotely true. Remember this. Bookmark it. Flags in the chat. Flags in the chat. Flag it up. Flag it up, kids. And when the nothing that's supposed to be happening actually happens and the nothing is happening doomers have to change their story for the umpteenth time, again, it'll make a world of sense why the doomers are in bed with the left-wing media trying to get rid of Kash. The black pillars. You'll start to see it because they don't want Donald Trump to succeed. The doomers, the black pillars, and the liberal media.
So according to Dan Bongino, there's going to be a boom coming. A kaboom. Or, well, was it this with Southern Poverty Law Center? Because I read the chats when I can. And yes, there's involvement by Southern Poverty Law Center in many other criminal actions that have happened. Here. What's this one? What's this? Oh. The first couple. Couple of what? From the river to the sea. Barack Obama said, congratulations, Virginia. Republicans are trying to tilt the midterm elections in their favor, but they haven't done it yet. Thanks for showing us what it looks like to stand for our democracy and fight back. Yeah, what do you know about? They started off. He was a community organizer. He never had a job. We were all saying he never had a job. He was a community organizer, and then they had to go to. Well, he was a constitutional scholar, which is a bunch of hooey. He thought there were 56 states. He didn't know his rear end for third base. $64 million. Again, this is Aguayo about Obama. In Soros dark money was poured into passing Virginia's redistricting referendum, which critics say is a Democrat power grab to rig the congressional maps and strip Republican representation ahead of the 2026 midterms. Virginia went from having one of the most fair maps, 6-5, in a nearly 50-50 split in the state. One of the most unfair maps at 10-1. 90% representation for the demon rats. State campaign, this is where brass tacks, folks, show this is finance records. The Yes Side Committee raised $64,128,440.87. Is this going to be another nail in the you-know-what for Act Blue, right? Remember, they caught them doing all those phony $5, $10 donations people didn't even know they made, using dark money and people's names and addresses without their knowledge, right? We're going to see Act Blue get nailed. You watch. $64 million poured into the pro-referendum group Virginians for Fair Elections, with a clear trail leading back to billionaire liberal donor Soros and his network of nonprofits. It ain't just Southern poverty. It's good. We already busted up USAID. Now, and we got Act Blue dead to rights on a lot of crap, and we're going to get them on a lot more. The finance records filed with the Virginia Department of Elections and tracked by Virginia Public Access Project show the money came in layers. There's more to these reports. Go to Christina Guay if you want to see the rest of the reports. This is a tip of the iceberg. The other operations that they pulled on us, which it looks tonight like I got to move along. Let's have a human interest story right here. Who's this? Who is this? The oldest living nun, turned 113 years old. Can you believe that? 113 years old? My friend, when he was 98, he said, man, I didn't have any idea I was going to live this long. Imagine, she's already lived 15 years longer than he has.
The world's oldest nun celebrated another milestone birthday. Born in 1913, Sister Frances Dominici Piscatella is the world's oldest nun, according to Guinness World Records. She joined the Order of the Sisters of St. Dominic on Long Island in 1931 at 17 years old. An accident in her childhood left part of her arm amputated, but she was determined to succeed as a nun. She would not only keep up with the sisters, she would go on to teach countless others. She says faith, family, and good fortune have given her a beautiful life.
Ain't that something? 113, still going, baby. Still going. So anyway, one thing all this stuff is doing, it's not making, what's all that now? It's not making the Democrats be able to make it look like Trump is ending the world and is a madman that needs the 25th Amendment enacted. That was one of their scams, right? He's got stuff going on right and left and handling every bit of it. Mark Kelly needs to be held accountable. Lock him up. This is from Donald Trump. Remember Mark Kelly? Disobey unlawful orders. Well, I'd like to ask Kelly, and I mentioned in the other broadcast, what about these judges? Their crap turns out to be unlawful. Trump still follows those orders. And they continue to defy the Supreme Court. What are we supposed to do about that? I got an article about Bozoberg, where the media lionizes him. Where's my, here. Former Navy SEAL. Let's see. Whoa, where'd it go? Eli Crane lights into Mark Kelly over his treasonous stunt. And this is posted by the President of the United States himself, the Commander-in-Chief. Okay? So you got something to worry about when the President posts stuff like this about you.
My last job in the Navy was in the SEAL teams. My job was to train and coach SEALs on the West Coast on how to do VBSS, so a little bit of experience with what you guys are doing, and I appreciate I know that's a very complicated mission set, and I appreciate all the hard work that you guys do. Admiral, I want to ask you if you believe that the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, under Article 2 of the Constitution, has broad executive powers for maritime security. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I recognize that.
Do you recognize that the President may direct maritime interdictions when enforcing sanctions or national security measures, Admiral?
Yes, I do. We follow that.
Okay. So one of the things that's concerned me as a former service member myself is a video that was made by Senator Mark Kelly and several other senators who just a couple months ago, they made a video to tell service members that they don't need to follow unlawful orders. Admiral, are you familiar with this video?
I have not seen the video itself. I was following the news story, obviously, and the escalation of the decision.
It made national news, did it not, Admiral?
It did indeed.
Did you or any of the other high-ranking Coast Guard officers that you work with fear that a video like that might undermine your chain of command?
From my standpoint, I have found that our service members will follow lawful orders if they, as given.
I find it interesting, Admiral, that I didn't see any videos made like that from members of Congress during the Biden administration. I want to submit an article for the record. This is from CNN. Biden finalizes new rules for U.S. drone strikes. President Joe Biden has signed a long-awaited classified policy tightening the rules for the CIA and Pentagon to carry out deadly drone strikes and commando raids conducted outside of traditional war zones, U.S. officials said on Friday. This was October 7th, 2022. Did you notice that no members of Congress, including Senator Kelly, made any videos during this time, Admiral?
I'm not familiar with that article.
But you didn't see any videos, did you? I didn't.
Not that I recall, no.
As service members, we tend to follow these types of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I found that very interesting that they weren't making videos during that time frame about whether or not service members follow lawful orders or not. And I think we all know that, right, Admiral? Don't we get that training in basic training that we're not supposed to follow unlawful orders?
Absolutely. And at all the session sources, that is what we train our personnel.
Yeah. So did you find that video a little bit odd, knowing that we all know that?
I find that, for me, as I reflect on it, I think it's unnecessary. I think our personnel will know to follow lawful orders and to question unlawful orders.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Admiral, Congress delivered for you guys in a pretty big way during the reconciliation package. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
We gave you about $25 billion. Is that correct?
Yes, generational change for the Coast Guard, Congressman. And
you guys had about $7 billion in maintenance backlog for infrastructure. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How do you see the Coast Guard deploying that money to make sure that the Coast Guard is ready to carry out the nation's national security and homeland security needs in the next couple years?
Under Force Design 28, Congressman, we have reorganized to ensure that the Coast Guard can obligate all of those funds quickly. We're not waiting for the 5 years that they're available to us. We want to spend those right away on maintenance, on shore infrastructure, to get after the problems that we have.
Thank you. My last question for you, Admiral, is: do you feel in the last couple months with the boat strikes and everything else going on, do you feel like you have given orders to your men to carry out any of these strikes, any of these interdictions that have been deemed unlawful?
The Department of War has had the lead for these kinetic strikes. The Coast Guard has not been involved with them. So I can answer that we have not. I have not felt that way at all.
Okay, that's what Donald Trump wanted us to watch. Yeah, I'd like to. My question was to Mark Kelly. Bozoberg, look how Fox News, what is it with these guys? Exclusive, Trump's D.C. judicial nemesis targeted in misconduct complaint over alleged Biden DOJ. He was a FISA judge, or still is, I don't know. He's not Trump's judicial nemesis. He's the nation's judicial nemesis. And he's put out unlawful orders many times that the Trump administration has followed. And when they had a problem with it, they went to the appropriate venues. All right? And so according to Mark Kelly, they shouldn't have done anything. They should have just ignored Bozoberg. But then they'd be screaming, right? They'd be screaming. Before I get off this Obozo business, here's another video Obama put up about Obozo. Where'd he go? And it's not like it's hard to spot. Oh, and that Ro Khanna guy, I had a video from him the other day on Maria Bartiromo. Boy, he makes me mad. Anyway, I'll talk about him in a little bit. But anyway, here's Barack Hussein Obama.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting, duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
The ground is going to shake when the time comes, and the people have to be informed and ready, and the fools will have to fall off to the side. And for people that have just tuned in, the reason I have this thumbnail is that it's been proven and people are being criminally charged with financing and organizing this false, and the second word is flag, okay, to undermine the Trump administration in his first year, right? And he clearly stated that people with white supremacist groups should be condemned totally, and the news organizations totally edited that out and let for years and years go by saying that Donald Trump said they were good and fine people. They participated all the way beyond when Biden ran for president in 2020. For years, here you have Joe Rubberface Autopen Biden saying why he got in the race. It was subversion.
We have a problem with this rising tide of white supremacy in America. And we have a president who encourages and emboldens it. When he said after Charlottesville, there were, and I quote, very fine people on both sides, I said then it gave license and safe harbor to white supremacists and neo-Nazis and to the Ku Klux Klan. These words not only stunned America, but they stunned the world. And in doing so, he assigned a moral equivalence between those spewing hate and those with the courage to stand against it. We are almost 330 million Americans who have to do what our president can't. Stand together. Stand against hate. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division. And yes, we choose truth over lies. If we stand together, we will win the battle for the soul of this nation.
They organized it. They financed it. They put on the performance. Then they edited Trump's tapes. You saw quotes from the Atlantic. And we will see, I believe, during tribunals, news agencies knowingly twisting Donald Trump's words. And for years, what they finance and encourage to incite public vitriol and hostility and to interfere with the lawful operations of a duly elected president, the proof is going to come out. And we got to do something about it. And everybody that was involved has got to pay. And there's going to be links to other events. This was just their little genesis. Okay. I remember who was the governor then in Virginia? Was acting like he knew something was up. I wouldn't go to Charlottesville if I were you. You know, he sounded like something was up. Was it Terry McAuliffe? Who bought all those tiki torches and handed them out? Who got a bunch of drunk college kids to get around, standing around hollering? And then you get about 5 or 6 of them paid, or with the C.I.A. or the F.IB, F.B.I. What do you know what I'm talking about? Go out there and give the Yahtzee salute, right? A hoax. An exaggerated hoax. Just like this. Citizen Free Press typed this at the top. Wait a minute. Come on. Why would Republicans in Virginia let this redistricting ballot measure be worded this way? Because they're in on it. Okay? Question. Should the Constitution of Virginia be amended to allow the General Assembly to temporarily adopt new congressional districts to restore fairness in the upcoming elections, while ensuring Virginia's standard redistricting process resumes for all future redistricting after the 2030 census? What the hell are you saying? Oh, it's just like when they did the amendment to the U.S. Constitution about income tax. It's only for the very, very rich, and it's only because we're at war, and it's only temporary. Yeah, now we're all marching to some blue hair with a clipboard. We're marching to their drum now. Every quarter, if you're self-employed, and every year everybody's, I got to pay, I'm going to go to jail. They put you in jail over it. Yeah. They got the stick, baby. Tell me that's free. Oh, what was that word I told you all to keep in mind? Citizen Free Press put this up. Well, this story ain't going to get any coverage in the majority of media. The Southern Poverty Law Center played a major role in organizing the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally, which was falsely used as a political knife against Trump for years. So there's, if you want to read about SPLC and F-37 made racist postings under the supervision of the SPLC. Yeah, they got on the internet, trolls, hired bots, and all that kind of garbage. It's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. But I got one post I want to show you. Let me find it. It's got a word in there. It's got a word. The bird is a word. The word. The bird is a word. Do, 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 do. When do birds sing? April, showers. USC, 10 USC 903B. Aiding the enemy. From Title 10, Armed Forces. Subtitle, General Military Law. Uniform Code of Military Justice. Punitive Articles. Any person who aids or attempts to aid the enemy with arms, ammunition, supplies, money, or other things without proper authority knowingly harbors or protects or gives intelligence to, all the whistleblowers running around telling Pedro to stay in the house and Sahib to stay in the house, provides military education, military training, or tactical advice to, or communicates or corresponds with any, or holds any intercourse with the enemy, either directly or indirectly, shall suffer what? Death. Or such other punishment as a court-martial or military commission. I'll remember that word. May direct. This section does not apply to a military commission as blah, blah, blah. Anyway, some people are going to have to get with attorneys that specialize in military law, okay? Yeah. Because if you're engaged in a conspiracy to do those things, boy, there's a separate kick in the chops for that. Oh, here. Did you know? Liz Collins put this up. Oseo Schools confirmed Alpha News that its remodel project includes a prayer room. It's a senior high school. That foot washing stations are being installed at Oseo Senior High. Everybody go wash your feet. Pretty soon they'll have an imam like the one I put up that wants to meet your daughter. Take 10 of you and sell the rest to his soldiers. But anyway, the district, located in the northwest suburb of Minneapolis, says the foot washing plans were included in updated plans after hearing from user groups. This is undoubtedly for Muslim students only. I cannot understand how this can be happening in this era of no religion in schools. The tipster said, you get your own prayer room and a place to wash your feet. I might as well play this dopey video of Ro Khanna. Where's he at? He gets asked point blank. Oh, I got a couple of people trying to ask Ilhan Omar something. Let me see. Here's Ro Khanna. Like I said, 435 House members out of a country of 360 million. What do we do with this guy? He goes in the cafeteria to escape the camera. I don't know. Does he go in there and wash his feet at the salad bar? I don't know. But, what's the deal here? We can't get people that were born and raised in America to be in Congress. Oh, but this is what America actually looks like. Like heck. Okay? But he's asked about this Hassan Piker. We go on the show again? What do you got to say about him saying to S-H-O and then T, Rick Scott, a sitting senator? What do you think about that? Didn't even ask about him shocking the dog.
Congressman Khanna, so I have a question for you. Yeah. So you said you would go on Hassan Piker's show again. Will you disavow Mr. Piker saying America deserved 9/11? And then if you actually cared about Medicaid fraud, you'd kill Rick Scott?
Of course America didn't deserve 9/11.
What about Rick Scott? Do you think that was appropriate rhetoric from Hassan Piker about Senator Scott? Will you disavow him for saying that?
I have no idea who you are.
Charles Downs, Lumen, we talked during the Epstein stuff, if you remember. I asked you a DCC question.
Of course I'm not that interested in that.
What about killing Senator Rick Scott? You said that.
Of course, I don't think anyone. I have philosophical disagreement with Senator Scott, but I don't think anyone should be pressing violence against any individual.
So will you do events with Mr. Piker going forward?
I go on all types of podcasts. Okay, I've got to get lunch. Thank you.
Yeah, don't you know it's Laura Loomer chasing him down like a dog in the night. So, yeah, she caught up, one of the reporters caught up with, this might have been Citizens Free Press, I'm not sure, caught up with Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar, she likes Sharia law, right? Sharia law. She's getting in an elevator. And, of course, like I said, they will eat your lunch and pop the bag in your face. They don't, and laugh at you. They'll take every dime you got, blow the lint off the coins right in your face, and laugh in your face. They don't care. So here's a reporter asking her about her money. $30 million, where'd it go?
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it? I still think you're stupid for asking me anything. I am? Yes. Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big mistake? I have explained to the American people. What's the explanation? I have given them the explanation. Do you want to tell our viewers? Because I don't want to tell you jack shit. Oh. How about that? Okay. Okay. Have a good day. Thank you, Congresswoman.
I'd ask them both. You believe in that 13th caliphate or whatever number it is that's supposed to take over the whole world and subjugate everybody and wipe out all infidels and kafir, make slaves of kafirs? Is that what you believe in? You got a prayer room? Probably so. Right in our U.S. Capitol, they planted their flag. Here's where I'm talking about. Act Blue is next, folks. Watch for it. House Judiciary GOP. If Act Blue has nothing to hide, Devin Nunes, I heard, is being activated. Devin Nunes, keep an eye out for him. Why did their employees plead the fifth 146 times? Act Blue employees took the fifth in House depositions 146 because they're going to jail. That's why. Get that prison prep going. Find you a good attorney who can advise you. What do you do when somebody offers you a piece of candy in jail? What should I take the candy? Or a cigarette? A bent up, beat up cigarette? Should I take that? But anyway. Or extra cup of Kool-Aid. All right, let me see what's going on here. Just the news, no noise. John Solomon.
All right, sir, you served in uniform on the front lines. You know the threats we face. When you hear that our intelligence community kept from the American public, from the Congress, some significant vulnerabilities in our 2020 election system, that's what these documents, Tulsi Gabbard declassified, show, that they also knew that China had penetrated multiple state voter registration databases and did untoward things with the data, but they kept that from us, and then they sold us a bill of goods saying, oh, secure election in history, which clearly these documents show you won't. What goes to your mind? Why don't we need to have an intelligence committee that tells us the truth?
100%, John. And, honestly, it just confirms what many of us have believed for a long time. I never for a second believed that, Joe Biden got 81 million votes, over 10 million more than Barack Obama got. I think almost 15 million more than Hillary Clinton got. I mean, I remember people being excited about, Barack Obama, even though I clearly didn't like him. But nobody was excited about Joe Biden. And I mean, the Democrats were obviously, that was a time during COVID, they were pushing the mail-in ballots, which we all know are the easiest way to inject fraud into an election system. Meanwhile, we've got these machines and tabulators that are not new technology. They're very hackable. I mean, John, all the time up here, I go down into the skiff and listen to folks from the FBI and Homeland Security talking to us about, how foreign adversaries are hacking, some of the equipment that, we use that is a lot newer, a lot more robust, has a lot more protections. And, it's just never really bought that this was a clean election at all. And once again, we're just learning more that many of us believe for a long time. And I can't wait to, hear more of the drops that are coming.
Yeah, important stuff.
Absolutely. Well, and among the vulnerabilities, go ahead.
I do want to say, guys, I'm also not surprised though. I feel like we're seeing the exact same thing with the SAVE Act right now. The Democrats do not want us to have secure elections. That's why they will not, even though it's a 80-20 issue, they do not want non-citizens voting in our elections. That's why they won't pick up the SAVE Act, Save America Act. And, it's just, we're seeing the same thing. I mean, there's no other excuse. They'll try and act like, oh, well, these guys can't, it's unfair. It'll, deprive people from voting. That is complete nonsense. I mean, you go out there and talk to a lot of these, folks that have been polled on both sides of the aisle, and they have no problem, registering to vote or getting to, voting station or even sending in a mail-in ballot, which many of us would like to see, us get rid of. But it's just complete nonsense. They want our elections to be, completely, vulnerable so that they can continue to do what they've been doing. And it's not a surprise to me as well, because honestly, their policies have gotten so crazy, that I don't feel, and many up here don't feel, that they could win a fair election anyway.
No, they can't. And they know it. That's why they're desperate. That's why they're doing what they're doing. And they're going to pay a big price. Let me see here. I got something that says breaking news. Breaking news. I guess I should play. I can't remember. It just says breaking news. Let's see. It's usually Fox. But this is ABC. Uh-oh. What kind of propo and Nganda is this?
Story on Action News at noon is breaking this hour. A brazen robbery targeted an armored truck this morning in Philadelphia's Tacony neighborhood. Police say 2 armed suspects robbed that truck right here on the 7200 block of Torresdale Avenue. They escaped after taking a massive amount of cash from that truck. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson live for us at the scene with an update from police. Becca?
John, sources tell me it was $1.8 million stolen from that armored truck this morning. It all happened behind me. I'm told the truck was parked right behind me at the Torresdale bus loop. It was a Brinks armored truck. Police say around 9:43 is when 2 armed men approached that truck. Take a look from Chopper 6. You see the Brinks truck on the 7200 block of Torresdale Avenue. Witnesses say the truck had been on the block servicing a budget financial center. That's when police say 2 males with assault rifles approached the truck and, according to sources, again, robbed it of $1.8 million before speeding off. Here's some ground video. It shows the aftermath of this crazy and brazen robbery. You see police on the scene here. The FBI, I'm told, is handling the case. You see police and investigators talking to witnesses in the area. This is a very busy business district, and we spoke with several people who were either working or in these businesses when that robbery happened around 9:43 again this morning. And again, take a look at Chopper 6. Once again, the investigation brought police to Front and Fairmount Streets in Northern Liberties, where sources tell me that getaway vehicle was found. I'm told it's a blue electric vehicle. Witnesses say the whole ordeal was absolutely terrifying.
We can see from our point of view was arguments, and the car just took off on the sidewalk. That was like what I saw. And then, of course, like when like the cops came, like that's when they say we need to see the cameras. The store got robbed at gunpoint.
And that was the Dunkin' Donuts. That's where that employee works, right next to and across the street from where that armored truck was. Again, the latest on the investigation, we're told that getaway car was found in Northern Liberty. Still at this point, no arrests have been made. As far as we know, those two armed men are still on the loose. Live here in Tacoma, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6.
Exactly, Dr. Trump, exactly. They got to get their money somewhere. Don't think for a minute, because there was another video where a Brinks employee, there's two separate Brinks robberies for millions, where the Brinks employee was dressed like a criminal. And don't think for a minute that they're getting away with this without people involved in the corporate and in law enforcement and in politics. They're getting their money from somewhere else. Devin, behave yourself. Nobody took any of your stuff down. YouTube might take it down if you put something in. I have nothing to do with it. And why am I showing what garbage? What are you talking about? The video can you add 2 and 2 together? When you have multiple Brinks armor robbery and you have the deep state being starved of money, Iran being starved of money, which is tied right into the deep state. We showed you them having meetings with people in the deep state. We've got millions in COVID getting cut off, millions in USAID getting cut off, millions in food stamps getting cut off, and on and on and on. They need to get something done. They need to get cash. Here's something Trump posted right here. If you want it all to be stuff Trump posted, not where we put 2 and 2 together. DOJ, Brennan, Comey under criminal investigation. FBI has launched an official criminal investigation on you both. We the people want accountability now. Donald Trump posted this today. What does my title say? Prison preparation. I mean, who's saying, well, nobody's going to go to jail over this? Are you out of here? This is big time. Something's got to be done about this. Nobody walks. People are going to go to jail, and some people are going to be a dangling participle, okay? Long drop, short rope.
All right, we have a Fox News alert. James Brennan and James Comey are likely regretting going all in on the Russia hoax now, because DOJ sources are telling Fox Digital that the FBI indeed has launched a criminal investigation into the former CIA director and former FBI director for potential wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia probe and all the alleged false statements made to Congress. The full scope of the investigation is unclear right now, but two sources describe the FBI's view of the duo's interactions as, quote, a conspiracy. Here to break it down, Jonathan Turley, George Washington University law prof and Fox News contributor. Jonathan, we've been hearing for some time about Brennan's alleged perjury over his role in the Steele dossier and the advancement of that, and perhaps understanding that that was not credible. Your reaction tonight to this stunning development?
Well, it's obviously a major development. These are two of the top people in the American intelligence system. And there have been these long unanswered questions about what they told Congress. At points, they both seem to adopt the Sergeant Schultz approach of, I knew nothing. If only I knew, I would have done something. That didn't strike many as being very credible. Both of these tend to be somewhat of micromanagers. They take pride in the fact that they followed the details of their departments. And it all comes down particularly to a period in 2017, an intelligence community assessment, an ICA, that went out and viewed the Steele dossier, that infamous dossier funded by the Clinton campaign, as credible. And that, in fact, Steele was credible. They knew that was not true. The CIA had already said that it had great misgivings about the Steele dossier. even though the Clinton campaign was denying to reporters that it funded the dossier, it was in fact funded through the law firm of the Clinton that the Clinton campaign used. And so there's a lot of questions here as to why particularly Comey, for example, signed off on these FISA warrants, these secret court warrants to conduct this surveillance. The other thing, by the way, they knew very early on was that Carter Page, who was such a significant figure in the Steele dossier and the whole Russian hoax, was not only not a Russian spy, but was actually a CIA asset. And so the CIA told the FBI, you're on the wrong road here. You're going after someone who is assisting us. All of that somehow got buried. And what came to the surface was the Steele dossier, which was not only not verified, it had been really shredded by many people in the Intelligence Committee.
Yeah, and Comey claimed that it was Papadopoulos, that poor hapless kid who was... That Papadopoulos, his interactions with the Russians started the whole thing, and it was long before the dossier. But this was Comey testifying back in 2020 about this. Watch.
It was done by the book. It was appropriate, and it was essential that it be done.
Okay. So you're proud of it?
Overall, I'm proud of the work. There's no indication, and the Inspector General would say it if he found it, that people were doing bad things on purpose, but that doesn't make it any less concerning. This was an investigation that was appropriately predicated and opened, that had to be opened.
Jonathan, it had to be opened. Supercilious doesn't begin to describe him. So dismissive.
Now, I remember listening to that testimony and just almost falling out of my chair. I mean, virtually everything he said was untrue. In fact, the IG reports shredded the FBI and said that they didn't follow protocol, that they ignored counterintelligence, that they pushed the Steele dossier forward. And these were two of the key individuals who did that. So the question is, does any of this trick the wire to perjury? And both of these are sophisticated players. You'll notice that they're very careful in how they word this. Comey is very careful to say that there wasn't basically malicious intent, not that there weren't mistakes. And time again, Comey portrayed himself as ignorant of all of these countervailing sources.
Well, and again, the Brennan perjury questions have been swirling about for years and years. This is like one big flashback for both of us, Jonathan. Thank you very much.
It's a big flashback for the whole country, and we gotta get people pumped up. I gotta get some. What was that Saturday Night Live? We're gonna pump you up. Get people pumped up. But anyway, I got missile or Iran parade, and I guess I might as well play one of the videos, because they're parading these missiles around. And the song they're playing, I don't know if it'll get me in trouble or not, but I tell you what, the song they're playing is probably on the top 20 Billboard in Minnesota or New York. If you listen to the song, I'm not sure if this is the one that's kind of catchy. No, that's not the one. Let me see if I can find the one with the song behind it. They're just having a big old time. Let's see if it's this one. Let's see if it's this one. Man, they're brave, because Trump could. Are these things dummy missiles or are they real? But I don't know. You might be hearing the song in the street after they play the 5 a.m. morning prayers over the loudspeaker. No, that's the usual. Yeah, let me see if it's this one. It's got to be one of these where they're playing some kind of flipping music. And you're like, man, Of course, they do it in the dark of night. They're paying these people too, because they got nothing. I mean, their economy's shot. Bet it was shot before this stuff even started.
اگه مذاکره جواب نمیده جواب تو موشک سرمجیده.
No, that ain't it either. Well, maybe I didn't copy the top 10 song. I don't know. Oh, there's a pic. Who is that on top of the rocket with the arrow? I think that's symbolic of. Tell me who you think that's symbolic of, with the person with the arrow on top of the coffin. Bible figure. Who do you think that is? Well, that's a good guess. Sagittarius. I was thinking more in the lines of it being Nimrod. Nimrod, who wanted to shoot an arrow at God. That's why he wanted them to build the Tower of Babel. But it could be Sagittarius. I don't believe they know anything about Sagittarius. But anyway, maybe I'll play it tomorrow if I got it in here somewhere. It's, I probably would get. I got my video restricted in certain parts of the world because I played an Arabic song twice, 2 different songs, and I guess they are pop music for Arab people. President Trump has been preparing for this war with Iran for over 40 years. This, again, her quote and this video was put up by Donald J. Trump. So I'm going to play it. I saw somebody talking about Michael Savage. He put in a long video about Michael Savage. Maybe I'll play it tomorrow. And we'll critique it. Huh? Savage Nation, I haven't listened to him in years. I had a friend that always listened to him. Language borders culture. Language borders culture. LBC. Language border cultures. But anyway, I'm going to play this video for y'all. And I put a link in the description about 4 minutes ago in the chats for Buy Me a Coffee. And I want to thank everybody who went to Buy Me a Coffee. Pow! To help the channel out. Kaboom! Pow, pow, pow. So anyway, I should be going live tomorrow. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. So why aren't you subscribed? I saw 30% of my people weren't subscribed. What's going on? But anyway, folks, I will play this video. You all enjoy it. And what I always say, thank you for spending your precious time with me. So we'll get together as soon as we can. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
This country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question. There's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea? You're going to have a war by being weak. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
Nearly 40 years ago, Trump saying, I'd be harsh on Iran. They've been beating us psychologically, making us look like a bunch of fools. One bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Karg Island. I'd go in and take it. Iran can't even beat Iraq, yet they push the United States around. It'd be good for the world to take them on.
And now, 40 years later, you're seeing Trump's vision play out in real time. Just as Ronald Reagan spent years before his presidency thinking about how to bring down the Soviet empire, Trump did the same with Iran's terror empire. So the moment of reckoning has arrived for Iran's regime.